All right, this is a simple example of the use of what's called, the fancy name is Pareto Analysis, P-A-R-E-T-O, which is the name of a Italian economist who did some work on this in the early 1900s. He found that 80% of the land in Italy was owned by 20% of the people. So Pareto Analysis also goes by the name the 80-20 rule. All right, generally speaking, 80% of the impact is attributable to 20% of the stuff. In this example, we're looking at a company that has 10 different products or stock keeping units, SKUs. So these are stock keeping units, different products. So we leave it at 10 because it's easier to do the math like this. So they have to pay attention to 10 different products. So each product is basically 1/10 of what they have to keep track of. Okay? So you have to focus on all of your products, and if you focused your attention equally on them, like if you loved your children equally, then you'd have to split your love 10% each. But the thing is that like children, some of them contribute more than others. So Pareto analysis is a way of figuring out what the contribution of these are, and it's either done, and that means that what you should focus on. So you could do it using sales, and if we were going to do sales, then you take the price per unit and multiply it by the units sold, and that'll give you the dollars of sales for each product. Okay, so what we can see here, let me go ahead and just change that to currency. What we can see is that even though each of them are 10% of the inventory, basically, we generate $35,000 of sales with stock resource 2,203, and 3,750,000 comes from this 101. So if we're trying to figure out what's the most important, well, that's where the 80-20 rule comes in. So if we're going to do sales, what we do is simply rank everything from the highest sales to the lowest sales. Oops. Sales, largest to smallest. There we go. All right, so if I take my total sales, which would just be the sales for all 10 products, that comes out to about $14.3 million. So the sales percent with product SR205 makes up 32% of the sales. And then we rank them highest to lowest. If I do cumulative sales, then between the top two products, that's 58% of the sales, and it's close to 80% if I look at the top three. So continuing along that, then you have three products that are 80% of your sales, and the other bundle of products which are, well, less. In fact, you start looking into the effort that you put into managing SR201 and SR203, that's less than 1% of your sales, and yet it's 20% of your products. All right. The other way that we often do this is just go by profit. Okay, well, to do it by profit instead of going by sales, if we do the profit percentage, then you take the profit per unit times the units sold, And it's going to give you pretty much a similar answer. It's going to tell you that the top 3 are 80% of your sales. And it's the same top 3 were the 3 key elements, but they're in slightly different order. All right, and that's because we have a different profit margin. All right, so the profit margin on our 10 stock keeping units, profit per unit divided by price per unit, what we can see is some things make more money than others. All right, so wow, look at this. We only sell 10 of them, but we make 50% profit on them. It's not just the profit margin, though. Notice that the one that generates the most dollars of profit has a lower profit margin than the one that generates the second highest. But it's the volume. So it's a little bit of price, and it's a little bit of volume. Anyway, that's why we're using the Pareto analysis to help us to prioritize where we need to focus our efforts. And operations management is all about getting the most bang for the buck. So the most bang for your buck in here, based on profits, is 80% of your profit comes from SR101, SR205, SR305. That should get the bulk of your attention. All right.